So this screen recording is going to be me finishing up reviewing 11 web pages of executive orders. I only got through 7 pages, and really it was just an overall review of the headlines, and I would say 50% of them I didn't even know, so I still have to read each and every single one of them. It's almost like, my God, we need media that is going to check each and every one of these executive orders just to see what the hell is this guy doing to our country. And then for anybody who didn't think that he was going to be a dictator, are you freaking kidding me? If anything, this is a special kind of evil because he's blatantly evil. So everything he touches turns not to gold, turns to shit. So he's like the opposite of Midas. Here's one thing. Trump halts enforcement of U.S. law banning bribery of foreign officials. So, hey, America's back. We can now bribe the officials of Guatemala and Bolivia and Chile. Now we can bribe foreign officials just like the billionaires bribe the government officials here with their super PAC. So if you thought you were going to get in trouble for bribing foreign officials, you're allowed to give millions to Putin, millions to Kim Jong-un, millions to, who's the leader of China? Whoever the leader of China. Who's the Italy? What's her name? Marcelli? Macaroni? I don't know. But hey, America's back. We're allowed to bribe foreign officials. If you're kind of saying, hey, America's not back, well, just take a listen.
Restore democracy. Let's make saying.
I don't know if you heard what Elon Musk kid just said there, but he tells Trump, you're not the president and you need to go away. He was picking his nose, and I was a little bit disgusted by it too, just like Donald was. But I kind of like this kid standing up to Donald.
To restore democracy.
You're not the president and you need to go away.
Democracy.
You're not the president. You need to go away.
Democracy.
You can see how he kind of looks at him and then kind of looks away. It's like you could tell how perturbed, pissed, just infuriated he is because he's trying to keep calm. But it's like, who in the hell are you? I told Elon he could come here to answer some damn questions from the reporters, not to bring his kid here to sit there and shit talk me. I gotta sit here. I'm the president of the United States, and I gotta sit here while this damn kid shit talks me. Hey, Donald, you're not the president, and you need to go away.
To restore democracy.
You're not the president. You need to go away. So it is President Elon Musk, is it not? Here, defund NPR. It should survive on its own. What's interesting, 35% of SpaceX's revenue comes directly from the federal government. Less than 1% of NPR's budget comes from the federal government. So SpaceX is actually more dependent on the U.S. government than NPR is. So the hypocrisy, the inconsistencies, my God, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. There's another thing that I was actually seeing here. You had Mehdi Hassan actually pointed out such an incredible fact. He said that Elon Musk bought Twitter for $40 billion, it's actually $44 billion, and then he donated $250 million to Donald's presidential campaign, and he's essentially running the entire government. So that means Elon Musk bought the United States government for less than what he bought Twitter for. Don't that sound crazy to you? Hey, how much for the U.S. government? $250 million? Well, how much for Twitter? $44 billion. Holy shit. And then he bought Twitter first, so that's interesting. So the media is more powerful than the government because, like Malcolm X says, they'll have you hating the victim and loving the criminals. So you need both intersectionality and anti-capitalism, right? They go together. Intersectionality and anti-capitalism goes together. Here's another little clip of Elon Musk. His kid is saying, you can barely hear him. He's whispering while Elon's talking. And then he's going to pick his nose and he's going to wipe it on the Resolute desk, right? So just like the Kennedy eras, right? This is just like John. Elon Musk kid looked at Trump and said, I want you to shut your fucking mouth. I want you to shut your fucking mouth up. And then he rubbed it in by picking his nose and wiping it on the Resolute desk. You ready for this?
Prices from one year to the next are the same, and they're
I want you to shut your fucking mouth. You're not the president, and I want you to go away. I did think picking your nose is pretty gross, but, this kid's got a message, and it's a good one.
their mortgage, all their debt payments dropped.
Here it goes. Y'all ready for this?
How great is that?
Oh my God, there he is again. No! Oh!
That's what we're in.
He's gonna put his booger fingers on the presidential desk.
And the prices from one year to the next are the same, and they're.
Would you just shush your fucking mouth? Why do we let South African immigrants in here to take over our country? 6 of our senators are born from foreign countries. Are Americans not producing incredible Americans? We have to outsource even our senators and our congressmen. So let's get back to the stupid hard work of checking out these executive orders. Maybe just an overall review. Defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Oh my God. I have to recheck so many of these. Establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. America First policy directive to the Secretary of State. That's interesting. America First. I thought that we care more about Israel. What's this saying? From this day forward, the foreign policy of the U.S. shall champion core American interests and always put America and American citizens first. Why did we give $7 billion to Israel? Why wouldn't we give $7 billion to our homeless? There's just a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old just froze to death in Detroit. Yeah, right. Like we're going to put American citizens first. When in the hell has the U.S. government ever give a shit about us citizens? Secretary of State shall issue guidance bringing the Department of State's... Alright, so... whatever. America first, right? America first. Which, I would love that on paper, right? That's a good ideal. Protecting the United States. MLK talked about the drum major instinct, which is the same thing. Protecting the U.S. from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Which foreign terrorists? Then we already named some, the cartels, the terrorists, and then there's another one, Allah Akbar, something, unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. So I guess drill, baby drill, is that what we're doing in Alaska? Protecting the American people against invasion. I'm on page 7, and I'm hardly even taking a look at any of these except for the headline that they gave us. So this is, straight out of the damn White House's mouth. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Global Tax Deal. What is this? OECD, Organization of the National Security Council and Subcommittees. Reevaluating and realigning U.S. foreign aid. More people are going to talk about the paper straws than all this other stuff. What? The Economic Cooperation and Development Global Tax Deal. No, I'm glad he got rid of those paper straws. What do you think about the national security and the subcommittees? No, it's those paper straws that was breaking my back. Reevaluating and realigning U.S. foreign aid. So that's him taking away USA. Temporary withdrawal of all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing and review of the federal government's leasing and permitting practices for wind projects. So are we still anti-wind? Is that what this is? Is this drill, baby drill? We're going to let ExxonMobil just go ahead and tap all the remaining oil. Do we even have oil remaining? Wasn't there a big ExxonMobil? There was a big spill up in Alaska, I want to say in the 90s, and then there was that thing in the Gulf of Mexico. Do I have to say Gulf of America? I mean, in 4 years, can we get a president that just undoes? I'm going to undo everything he does. Bernie should run right now and just contradict every word that comes out of this guy's mouth. Nah, when I'm president, I'm going to undo all of this stuff. How come Jon Stewart isn't running? How come we have nobody? We got nobody. It just looks like the Republicans are going to run for the rest of their lives. They're going to run America for the rest of their lives. We do need some sort of communist, some sort of Jackson Hinkle. We need a Jackson Hinkle to lead this country. This is so despicable. We couldn't force a vote, right? We're not going to allow AOC. Don't put any pressure on Nancy Pelosi to, get a vote on health care. Not even getting us health care, just a fucking vote. Don't know. AOC is just a wee little girl. We don't want to put no pressure on a wee little girl to put pressure on another wee little girl who's doing a bunch of insider trading. Why would we do something like that? My God. Can't do that. Let's not force the vote. Don't use our political power in order to get something that we the people want. Why would we do something like that? Let's squander what little bit of leverage that we have. Declaring a national energy emergency. Really? Do we need a national energy emergency? Restoring accountability for career senior executives. What national energy emergency is this? So, drill, baby, drill. How many drill, baby, drills are there, huh? Restoring accountability for career senior executives, promoting beautiful federal civic architecture. Fucking important shit. We need to promote beautiful federal civic architecture. This is one of the most important. This is why I elected him. Restore the death penalty, protect public safety. Yes, yes, we need to off some putting people over fish, stopping radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. We can't just provide water to Southern California. We have to say putting people over fish. Are we putting fish over people? Because that's a dumb policy. Securing our borders. Oh my goodness gracious. This is just so... Okay, here, I got a couple. I wrote down a few little tidbits. So, one of the executive orders was eliminating the Federal Executive Institute. This was... LBJ had done this. They mentioned that the president's power comes from the Constitution, but also Title III of the Federal Code in Section 301 and Title V, Section 4117. Makes me wonder what Title III, Section 301 and Title V, Section 4117 even is. Apparently the Federal Executive Institute was leadership training to bureaucrats. It taught professional and personal growth. It had something to do with the U.S. Office of Personnel Management. It was sitting on a 14-acre piece of property in Charlottesville, Virginia. But it's gone. It's gone. It's no more. Well, I mean, it's been around for 70 years and probably a bunch of damn Democrats, right? Who gives a crap? Addressing egregious actions of South Africa. Well, South Africa had a land reform. And really the big thing, they criticized Israel. They said that Israel committed genocide. And then they told on Israel to the International Criminal Court. And the International Criminal Court says, no, Israel, you're not allowed to murder 300,000 children. Why are you murdering 300,000 children, Israel? Don't you do that, Israel. So we got to put, sanctions on South Africa. They're not going to get any U.S. aid money anymore. They're something about Iran, too. They got a relationship with Iran. Something about resettlement. We're going to help the resettlement of all the people that are being discriminated against. They call them Afrikaners, which is weird because it's the Caucasian people. The Caucasian people are calling themselves Afrikaners. Is that just to kind of confuse everybody? Do you care about the Africans or the Afrikaners, huh? Well, what's the difference? Well, Africans are native to Africa. Afrikaners, well, that's some shit that the Dutch made up. They're the Boers. You know what I'm talking about? You know, the whole apartheid, South Africa, Nelson Mandela, Ronald Reagan called Nelson Mandela a terrorist. Yeah, that's... They also mentioned at the bottom of each one of this has nothing to do with the director of the Office of Management and Budget. Why are we mentioning the director of Office of Management and Budget? I don't even understand. Why are we protecting that motherfucker? Is that one of the most... Who is the director of Office of Management and Budget? Let's check that out. Who is the director of Office of Management and Budget? Russell Vought. Well, who the hell is Russell Vought? Russell Vought. Well, it's this guy here. So, all these executive orders says, hey, this guy gets to do whatever the hell he wants. It's a nice, clean-shaven beard, right? He's got a lot of grays in his beard there. Has a seemingly okay face, but, don't judge a book by its cover. Who is it? Well, he's a political analyst, and he's been the director of the Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, since February of 2025. So you better shut your mouth and obey. Shut your mouth and obey him. His name is Russell Vought. Russell Vought. Do I want to talk about the establishment of the White House Office of Faith? Yeah, let's do one more page, and then I'll talk about the establishment of the White House Office of Faith. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Now that's interesting. I mean, shouldn't we care about American citizenship? Realigning the U.S. refugee admissions program, unleashing American energy, clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the U.S., America First Trade Policy Memorandum to resolve the backlog of security clearances for Executive Office of the President personnel, declaring a national emergency at the southern border of the U.S. We've done a couple things at the southern border, holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive government information. So no leaks. You better be loyal to the Fuhrer. And that's all he cares about is your loyalty. You shut up and you go ahead and stroke the shaft. And you do a little salad tossing. Make sure you do your job. Make sure you do your rim jobs as best as possible to Jan Fuhrer. Restore accountability to policy influence and position within the federal workforce. Withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization. And some more. So let's talk about the establishment of the White House Office of Faith. Why are we going to establish some more bureaucracy? Well, I'll tell you why. We're going to allow these faith-based entities, these community organizations, these places of worship, these churches, these mosques, these synagogues. We're going to help the churches and mosques and synagogues, help them compete on a level playing field for grants, contracts, and programs. What kind of grants? How much money are we going to give to the churches? Well, the reference of previous executive orders goes back to 2001, and they called it something else, but faith-based initiatives. So we're going to give grant monies to churches if they're able to come up with grant programs where they talk about protecting women and children, strengthening marriage and family, lifting up folks with hard work and self-sufficiency, defending religious liberty, combating anti-Semitism, combating anti-Christianity, promoting adoption and foster care. We're also just going to help them with just education. We're going to get rid of the Department of Education, and we're going to finance education through the churches. So that way we can go ahead and help them indoctrinate people to believing in a bunch of bullshit. If churches have a program for preventing crime, to help with prisoner reentry, when it comes to drug recovery, and also, here's an interesting little phrase, fostering flourishing minds. We're going to give money to churches to help them foster flourishing minds, and there's a bunch more shit past that. So, there you go. That's what the White House Office of Faith has done. I didn't check all 3,000 of the executive orders, but I did check 3 of them. So, I've done my part. There's 340 million Americans. I'm sure everybody is going through the White House executive orders just to, be on the up and up. Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok. So what they had 45 days to sell to some American billionaire. Granting pardons and commutation of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events. So January 6ers, it's okay to try to overthrow your government now. If you try to overthrow your government and then the guy gets elected, well, he'll just pardon you. So, that's cool. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. You don't know if it's going to work out well for you or not. I mean, Hitler tried to overthrow the government. Fidel Castro tried to overthrow the government. Hugo Chavez tried to overthrow the government. And then they all became the leader of the country after they tried to overthrow the government. So it seems like there's not really much punishment for attempting to overthrow the government. I guess people think you got some chutzpah. You got some sort of some balls. You got some big balls, right? You got some gumption. You got some spunk. You got some spunk in you, kid. Sure, you're not supposed to overthrow governments, but you know what? Why don't you become president? Putting America first in international environmental agreements, which is, I mean, why do they go after communists? Like, communists, they kind of, okay, anyways, putting America first in international environmental agreements, deliver an emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis, hiring freeze, regulatory freeze pending review, return to in-person work, ending the weaponization of the federal government, restoring freedom of speech, ending federal censorship, initial recessions of harmful executive actions and orders, flying the flag of the U.S. at full staff on Inauguration Day, because fuck Jimmy Carter. Fuck you, Jimmy Carter. Who cares if you were the president? Who cares if we're supposed to respect past presidents? You asshole. You're going to die right before Trump becomes inaugurated? Well, like it's your day, huh? You made it to 100. Oh, Jimmy Carter, look at me. I'm Jimmy Carter. You know, I did something with something, and I did what? He went ahead and pardoned all the Vietnam War draft resistors. Well, that's a good thing. And President Trump designates, you know, Jimmy Carter's empire didn't fire a single shot. Donald Trump's already bombing Somalia. They're a bunch of small business owners. He's bombing small business owners. Can that be right? Al-Shabaab is small business. It's what Kyle Kalinske said. President Trump designates chairman and acting chairman. President Trump announces acting cabinet and cabinet level positions. Announces sub-cabinet appointments. Trump announces cabinet and cabinet level appointments. Does he actually know all these people? Let's just click on this one. So there we go. I was able to get all, you know, through each and every one of those. At least I read the headlines. Now I got to read all these stupid things. Is anybody going to help me do any? Is anybody trying to put a check on the U.S. government? Is anybody paying attention to any of this stuff? What is this? Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. What is this about? The 14th Amendment, all persons born or naturalized. That provision, Dred Scott, and then misinterpreted. The 14th Amendment has never been interpreted. So this is actually getting away from birthright citizenship because of the phrase, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. A person born in the U.S. subject to, it's a national citizen, generally mirroring the 14th among the categories when that person's mother was unlawfully present, when that person's mother, oh my God. So they're going after birthright citizenship. And then look at all those complicated legalese. So this was called protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. How does that protect the meaning and value of American citizenship? Look, if you're a Mexican mother or father and you come into America and you have your baby on American soil, that baby is an American. Deport the mother, deport the father. If they were good people, selfless, and they just want to give their child a better start than their Guatemala or Bolivia or Nicaragua or Honduras, any of the countries that America has overthrown throughout the years, if they wanted a better, if you're born on American soil, you're a citizen. So that's the red line in the sand. That baby is a citizen. The parents are not. Give me a fucking break. Holy shit. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Every person in this country is only an American because you were born here. That's all you fucking did, you goddamn lazy, criminal, immoral, hypocritical motherfuckers. President Trump announces cabinet and cabinet level appointments. Scott Bessent to be the Secretary of Treasury. Pamela Bondi to be the Attorney General. She's already suing New York. Douglas Burgum to be the Secretary of the Interior. The Interior what? Interior Design. Lori Chavez de Reamer of Oregon to be the Secretary of Labor. We're going to strengthen unions. Now we're going to pass the Employee Free Choice Act. Douglas Collins of Georgia to be the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Why are the veterans having affairs? I thought we want to strengthen marriage. Sean Duffy of Wisconsin to be the Secretary of Transportation. Peter Hegseth of Tennessee to be Secretary of Defense. He went ahead and renamed Fort Liberty Fort Bragg, but it's not for Braxton Bragg. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. of California to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Is that to get us universal health care? Hell no. Howard Lutnick of New York to be the Secretary of Commerce. He's going to need a lot of Lutnick if he's going to be successful as the Secretary of Commerce. Linda McMahon, why do you say McMahon? McMahon is what it looks like, of Connecticut to be the Secretary of Education. I thought we were getting rid of the Education Department. Linda, they hired her to be the damn secretary of an invisible Yeah, you get to be the secretary of the Cloud Agency. Kristi Noem of South Dakota to be the Secretary of Homeland Security. She killed her fucking puppy. They went hunting. She shot her fucking puppy because it ruined their hunt. She is a sick fucking pile of shit. Brooke Rollins, I guess it's one good thing to get. She was the governor, but not the governor anymore, right? Is that an advance? I think I'd rather be governor of a state than to be the Secretary of Homeland Security. Frankly, if you want to be frank, if you want to be for real, Brooke Rollins of Texas to be the Secretary of Agriculture. Rolling. Marco Rubio, Florida, to be the Secretary of State. Eric Turner, he's trying to, Guatemala, he's trying to get prisons for Guatemala, and then they're sending people to Guantanamo Bay. Eric Turner of Texas to be the Secretary. He's also defended USAID in the past. Eric Turner of Texas to be the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Christopher Wright of Colorado to be the Secretary of Energy. Well, that should help Colorado out, right? Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii to be the Director of National Intelligence. Bring Edward Snowden home. Edward Snowden, he actually loved the American people, told us the truth, thinking that we're going to rally for his cause. No, we were like, oh, thanks for telling us the truth. Now get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. Telling us free speech is important. Jameson Greer of Maryland to be the U.S. Trade Representative with the rank of Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary. What? I'm the Ambassador Extraordinary. Hey, can I be the Ambassador of Extraordinary? Yes. Kelly Loeffler of Georgia to be the Administration of the Small Business Administration. Kelly Loeffler, wasn't she the one that ran for Senate of Georgia and lost? John Ratliff of Texas to be the Director of CIA. Who is this John Ratliff? And wasn't it the CIA that killed, goddamn, the Kennedys? I mean, that's going to be a little awkward, huh? You're going to release those files and it's going to be the CIA. So John Ratliff is, we do need some sort of like FBI and CIA, but we don't need the FBI and CIA. We need some sort of federal police force. We need some sort of, spy agency, James Bond. But it don't have to be these agencies. Elise Stefanik of New York to be the representative of the U.S. of A. to the United Nations with the rank of status of Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary. Wait, I thought we already did that. And representative of the USA in the Security Council of the United Nations. Elise Stefanik, is she going to stand up for Israel? That's the most important thing. Here she is again. Elise Stefanik of New York to be the representative of the U.S. of A. to the sessions of the General Assembly of the United Nations during her tenure of service as representative of the U.S. of A. to the United Nations. So she is both the representative in the Security Council and to the General Assembly. Why wouldn't we split those positions into two different? Russell Vought of Virginia to be the director of the Office of Management and Budget. Who is this Russell Vought? And Lee Zeldin, the adventures of Lee Zeldin of New York to be the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, which was a Nixon. Nixon created that agency. Nixon, I heard, was the last liberal president that America has had. So I think that's enough. That's a lot, right? I mean, who are these people? These are the people that's going to be running the United States of America. Any one of these people might be the president later on because they'll say, well, I was the director of agriculture, commerce, health, human services. So you're a secretary, so you're like, over a department. You ran one single department, but you're part of the administration. So you could use all these people might run for president. So I'm sure we'll see these names over and over again. And let's click out of this. Let's just click out of this. Let's check this last one over here. It looks like I have 1 minute. So what was this? Pausing Foreign Corrupt Practices Act enforcement to further American economic and national security. There's too many. There's too many executive orders. There is no person in this damn country that knows all of the laws of America. They don't know the Constitution, the local, the county, the tribal. They don't know the state or the federal laws. There's nobody that knows all the fucking laws. There's so many fucking laws on the fucking books. It's fucking disgusting. We need a constitutional convention just to simplify this shit. Fuck. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. What is this about? Foreign Policy Authority. economic competitiveness, FCPA, period of 180 days. Ugh, God. I'm already sick of this shit. Can we elect somebody else? Is that possible? Can we impeach this guy?